Hi, you have tuned in to the Raging Aggron channel, and I'm your host, Djingis. So, this will be the third episode with the draft recap, and in this episode we are going to look at the Philadelphia Phrillish and their draft. So, the first Pokemon that they drafted was Tentacruel, and that is tier 1, but they drafted it in S tier, that's why it's first. And Tentacruel is another Pokemon that I really wanted, that got snapped from me. I am really fond of Tentacruel. It's one of the best spinners in the game. Water Poison is fantastic. Base 100 speed, 120 defense, 80 HP, 80 special attack, Scald hurts, toxic spikes, screens. If I'm not wrong. No screens. I'm wrong. Giga Drain, as you can see, Haze, Hex, Knockoff. It's Knockoff. Yeah, and it has a great bulk, very hard to take down. With Black Sludge, it's almost impossible to deal with. It's just an annoying Pokemon to have to face, and I really like it. So, don't really have much more to say that, except that it has Liquid Ooze and Rain Dish. So against the Rain team, this Pokemon will heal even more. And against everything else that try to Giga Drain it, they will lose health instead of gaining health. So Tentacruel is just good. Charizard. Yeah, Mega Charizard X is one of those Megas that you just don't want to face at all. 2 stats under base 100. And you know you're in trouble, especially with Tough Claws, which have all moves that have connection, physical connection, will have power multiplied by 1.3. And it's a fire dragon type, so you can just see you have a dragon. Let's see here. Yeah, we take Dragon Claw, just for the sake of it. Base 80 power with base 130 attack stat, multiplied together with 1.3 for the Tough Claws. And stab. Something dies. It's as simple as that. I mean, Mega Charizard X is one of those Megas that you really don't want to face it, but when you do, you know that you have to go around it some way. You need to have something that can wall it, and the only thing that can wall it pretty well is this Pokemon, Volcanion. And before we left here, this is neutral with fairy resistance, so that's pretty good. Both of those are very weak to Earthquake. Same with, can this phone just shut up? I'm gonna throw it over there. And Volcanion has also this ground weakness, as you can see, Robert is next up, so that won't be a huge deal. But he has Volcanion, Water Absorb, almost the exact same stats as Mega Charizard X. It will hit as a truck, especially with that Sea Crystal. As you can see, it's the Sea Crystal used by the name. And Volcanion just do things that Volcanion does. I mean, you put it with Steam Eruption. Oh yeah, Steam Eruption. Hydro Pump, Scald, Steam Eruption. So Steam Eruption is the Scald, same as Scald, just better if you don't know. Stone Edge will hit as a truck, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Toxic Superpower Substitute, Return, Rock Slide, I think I said that before. Heat Wave, Focus Blast, Flash Cannon. I mean, this thing is just a monster. And with that special defense, just put an AV on it and it will survive loads of hits. The only problem is that ground types wrecks it. Well, it doesn't wrecks it because they are most of the time slower than Volcanion. And if they aren't, they will do 50% to it if it's max or something like that. I'm pretty sure that was the calc. And then you also have electric types. That's 2 weaknesses, and Charizard doesn't care about Thunderbolt or anything that has electric stab. And Tentacruel don't really want to take an electric hit at all. But then you have Crobat that takes care of the ground resistance in this case. It's immune to all ground attacks, And that, together with these three being weak to ground, you have an extreme importance of Crobat. Crobat will need to be brought every single game. That is really bad for this team. I mean, it's really fast. U-turn, Brave Bird, Defog, Rocky Helmet user, your Black Sludge. You can Choice Band it, you can Scarf it if you really want to. You can do so much with Crobat, and it's really looked over in that sense. Most of us just see it and it's like, meh, it has okay stats, nothing too incredible, but it can hit like a truck, it is fast, it can pivot, it has U-turn, it has stab on both fronts, that is just insane. And the most important part for this team is that it has the ground resistance. The problem is here we have Torkoal, Rapid Spinner, Fire type, can set the rain, which it most likely will do. It won't use White Smoke at all. It will have Drought. Because if you look at this, Drought boosted, and Drought boosted because of Chlorophyll. We're gonna go over the reads later. So the Torkoal here, it's really important that it survives a long time, and it will die pretty quick to water type move, to special earth moves, and to earth or special ground moves and ground moves overall. It's slow, so you have Gyro Ball, Stab. You have it's a pretty good Pokemon, and it works well on this team. But just these 6 months are too bad when it comes to dealing with its core needs. And if you look at Venusaur, it isn't a ground resistance. It's actually neutral because of the poison type. But that Chlorophyll will help it really well. It's bulky, you can run it pretty much, you can Scarf it with Chlorophyll in the sun, that's just destruction. Or you can Specs it, you can Band it, you can run it defensively. I mean, this team looks really good if you take out the electric and ground weakness and water weakness when it comes to Torkoal. But I mean, both Tentacruel and Volcanion doesn't give a shit about that. This is a really good team, and I don't really have to say too much about Venusaur because you all know what it's going to bring. Maybe Growth. Let's see here if I say the right thing. I can see Growth, Leech Seed, Sludge Bomb, and Petal Dance on this thing, and that would wreak havoc in a Sun team. So yeah. And if we just go here then, I mean, here we have another ground weakness. I have no clue why I have so many ground weaknesses. But Aggron, okay, Aggron is... I love Aggron. That's my favorite Pokemon, as you might have noticed. But this is a bad Pokemon on this team. It shouldn't be on this team. If I was the manager of this team, or the coach in this case, I would have dropped Aggron, and I would have dropped another ground weakness and picked up something else. Aggron is great defensively, it gives him another Stealth Rocker, it gives him another Sunsetter actually, because Aggron can set sun pretty darn well. It's a good Fairy check if you give it like Assault Vest. It can actually hit, it can actually check Fairy types pretty well. But it's not a good Pokemon at all in this case, and especially not on this team. So more than that I'm not going to say about my beloved Aggron. Sato is one of those Pokemon that you don't really know why it exists, but on this team it is, as you can see, Synchronize will be very important. Magic Bounce will be very important because of all those flying and fire types, because he can't have rocks on his side. If there are rocks on his side, he will lose every single game. So that's why Sato is such a huge deal in his team. It's also flying type, which will help him take care of the ground weakness. But it helps him with the... I mean, he's going to get such a huge Thunderbolt weakness. And the same, I mean, if you bring ground and thunder, ground and electric against him, this team will just die. That's bad. I'm not going to say too much about Sato. It will defog, roost, screens, future sight maybe, but nothing else. Cosmic power. That's about that. Sylveon. one of the best fairy types out there. I am surprised that no one picked it up before the 3 rounds, and I'm even more surprised that I find it on this team, because I don't think Sylveon will fit on this team at all. He has too many Pokemon that he needs to bring to patch up his weaknesses for Sylveon to fit in. Sylveon is a great Pokemon, very bulky, and can be very, very fast as well. Not fast, very dangerous as well on the offensive side of it. That base 100 special attack. It will die to almost all Iron Heads and Poison Jabs because of that abysmal defense. But it's still a pretty good Pokemon. Sylveon has a lot of things going for it that you just can't see through. I mean, when you look at this, here you have Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, okay, maybe not the best. Oh, Moonblast, yeah. Quick Attack, maybe not. Shadow Ball, Rest, Psy Shock, Protect, Magic Coat, Light Screen, Hyper Voice with Pixelate. Remember, it gets Pixelate. Hidden Powers, Toxic Wish Sub. It has a lot of moves that you can actually use, and I know that Training Kiss can be pretty good on this set if you run AV, which I don't suppose you should do, but you can do it. That's pretty good. I mean, this is just a Pokemon that needs a better team to be on. I'm sorry to just destroy this team when I see it, but I mean, look here, another electric weakness. Another. I love Jellicent, it's great. Another Pokemon that was snapped from me. And those stats are great if you have a Water Absorb or Cursed Body. And you can run a lot of different sets with this Jellicent. It has pretty good, pretty diverse moveset, a lot of things it can do. It can be a pivot, it can be a defensive wall, it can be offensive. It's really good. Jellicent is one of those Pokemon that you shouldn't sleep on. Then we have Minior, another flying type, and Rock doesn't resist electric. So this is another electric type, another electric weakness on this team. That is, what, 3 electric weaknesses on this side, and I think it's 2 on the other side. Yeah. And then it has 4 or 5 rock weaknesses. Rock and ground weaknesses. Ground weaknesses in this case mostly, but even rock in some extent. Rock just to wreck his team. Minior is really good. I mean, those stats will switch around when it's especially when it's in Shields Up form, but you can do pretty much anything with Minior, and it's a really scary Pokemon to face. I think it will be. I think it has to bring it like almost every game, just like Satu, because of this because of the ground weakness. And then I'm not gonna say too much more because this is just like repetition of everything I already said. Alolan Persian is really overlooked in my opinion. It's not the best stats, but that Fur Coat or Technician, that really helps Alolan Persian to really stand out in the meta and to actually eat hits. I know that what's his name now? Nips used it extremely well in VGC, and I know that it might not have like as huge importance in the Draft League format, but if you're not prepared for this thing, it can actually defeat you. I'm pretty sure of that. So that is this team pretty much. We can just go look and see here how many. So as you can see, Thunderbolt, 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 Thunderbolt. That's 6 Pokemon weak to electric. And you have ground, 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 ground. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pokemon weak to ground and 1 neutral. That's pretty bad. And then you have rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's neutral. So 5 Pokemon weak to rock as well. This team has so many weaknesses that it needs to patch up. And if you look at here, these are the teams that it will face. I don't know how good of a battler he is. I haven't met him yet, but that team looks extremely weak for this division, sadly. It's a really dope team, I really hope it works, but I don't see it working. At all. Okay, that Nidoking will wreck his entire team. The Haxorus and Golok can wreck his entire team. The Raikou will wreck his entire team. But yeah, that's all for this one. My name is Djingis, and I will see you next time.